Up in the morning edition.
We are not here today to extend a curfew. We are not here to enforce a lockdown.
The Prime Minister clearing the air on the intent of the emergency orders. Also,
the fact that they're not coming translates into abandoned Bay Street, where most stores are shuttered, and there's just no economic activity out there.
The delay in cruise ships to our shores can severely impact our economy. A teacher showcasing her talents in honor of her late sibling, and meet a female roof builder. We've got all of these stories and much more when the morning edition comes right back.
First, it's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties, whatever they may be. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
We're here to help you. We're here to hold your hand. We're here to support you.
I think it's everyone who sacrifices their life to serve the needs of others are all heroes.
So we all just kind of get together and do what's right for our patients.
The human connection is what bonds all of us. I'm truly proud to be part of the Pineapple family.
What matters most is your health. Be proactive about it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Your Black Friday shaping up to be a bit stable with cloudy and warm weather in the forecast. Also, look out for a few quick passing showers today. Tonight, your weather is expected to be fair and mild. Beachgoers should still be aware of those rip currents along north and east coast beaches. Lloyd Allen and the morning traffic team has your Friday traffic commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Yes, good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas. A great start to your Friday morning, but also a busy one. This morning, our first look at traffic coming in from the area of Carmichael Road. This is just opposite that BTC location in the Southwest Plaza. Now, we're pointing that out because this morning, that company, like many companies across the country, is hosting a Black Friday sale. And already this morning, there are droves of people lined up to take part in that event. This morning, we're also joined by Constable Prince Dean Jr. from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division. Now, Officer Dan, obviously a busy morning, and on a normal day, it's busy in this area. What advice can you offer to motorists?
Good morning, Lloyd. Good morning, Bahamas. I advise motorists to be cautious in this area at this time. We realize that in the Southwest Plaza at this time, they're having a Black Friday sale. Motorists, I advise you to please drive with care and caution with other road users. Be safe. However, we realize that there will be a traffic congestion in this area. We love to monitor that and keep those road users on the road cautiously safe at this time. However, we advise you to drive with your IDs, your government-issued IDs, driver's license, so that when you are stopped by the police, you can present that. However, keep this area cautious and safe.
Now, Officer Dan, also this morning, can you paint a picture for us for traffic incidents over the past 24 hours?
Yes, we had a total of 8 traffic accidents, 4 of which damage only to vehicles. The other 4 where persons were injured. We have 9 persons at this time hospitalized reference to traffic accidents.
And then finally this morning, particularly in areas like Jane Street off of Prince Charles Drive and other areas around the capital, some drivers have identified the challenge of those traffic signals or lights that are only staying on green for just a couple of seconds, not giving drivers a whole lot of time to make their transition onto the next street. What advice can you offer to motorists there?
I would advise motorists to pay attention to the traffic lights. We know some persons like to be on the light holding their cell phones. We ask you to keep close attention to the traffic light because you can cause an accident there, and accidents do happen there frequently.
All right, so some great advice coming in there. Of course, this has been your morning traffic report for the morning edition. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Our top story this morning, the emergency orders have been extended into the end of January next year, but the move does not necessarily mean extensions or lockdowns for residents. In fact, the numbers are still coming down, and many of the family islands with previously climbing cases are seeing improvements. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, says a health team will travel to Eleuthera today to make an assessment there.
Within days of the restrictive measures being put in place, health officials were able to isolate all positive cases on Eleuthera and quarantine the contacts of those positive cases. The curve, Mr. Speaker, is starting to bend. Health education initiatives are working. Restrictions will remain in place for the rest of this week, meaning that that team may report the continuous great news in Eleuthera, which means that Eleuthera can possibly be liberated as of Monday.
The Prime Minister also provided an update on Grand Bahama, which has seen some spike in its COVID numbers.
This past Monday, there were 18 newly confirmed cases on Grand Bahama, and there are 8 COVID-19 hospitalizations. Health officials have advised that the restrictive measures currently in place on Grand Bahama should remain the same. Health officials have identified the need for more contact tracing resources on Grand Bahama.
The hotel union says extended emergency orders have sparked renewed anxiety among hotel employees. President Darren Wood says employees expected to return to work to those hotels opening in December are still unsure of their employment status.
The numbers, according to all reports, are trending down in the right direction based on what we're receiving. But we're still seeing the extension of the order. There's no explanation as to what is going on. And so for them, they're very unhappy as it relates to this additional extension of this order.
Wood says there has been no response to queries about the next step going forward.
We understand that we are heading and trying to get to some form of normalcy. But we had I think it may have been about 2 weeks back, we had a phone call with some of our colleagues in the Caribbean who are faced with basically the same thing, and they have passed this lockdown orders and stuff where they have now put plans in place or contingency plan as to how do we coexist with this virus. The only thing we are saying right now is pretty much extensions and orders and so forth. But we're not getting a full understanding of what is the overall plan to take us through and get us out.
The COVID-19 pandemic has served a devastating blow to the cruise ship industry, with the Bahamas losing millions of dollars. As the pandemic continues to loom, hotels will continue to be a distant memory. In fact, Tourism Minister, the Honorable Dionisio Diaguilar, says service by cruise lines to this destination have been postponed until next year.
They were looking at resuming service probably in the first couple of weeks in December, but I think that's now been pushed back until sometime in the first quarter of 2021. And so, you know, the fact that they're not coming translates into an abandoned Bay Street where most stores are shuttered and there's just no economic activity out there. So it is devastating. The complete evaporation of the cruise market, and especially on our city center and our taxi cab drivers and straw vendors and the like. So we're anxious for them to resume.
And still to come, hear how the demolition of the General Post Office can change your daily commute in that area. So keep it locked.
those days believed the woman should be at home, taking the children.
We use oil stove or coal stove. Sometimes you cook in the yard.
There was an intense concentration on education for the men. I guess because they were supposed to be heads of households and they're the ones who had the right to vote.
The time came when the women began to realize that it was not a before and a behind situation. It was a side-by-side situation.
I see. The medical technologists, with the help of lab aides and phlebotomists, test all bodily fluids to provide results. Without this group of professionals, the physicians, surgeons, and nurses will be handicapped in the management of their patients. Our test results clearly indicates if you suffer from any kind of disease or illness, be it cancer, diabetes, AIDS, or even the flu. It is important to note that even while you are asleep, we're testing. While you're in isolation, we're testing. While you are in lockdown, we are testing. BAMAT wishes you to remember that medical technologists, phlebotomists, medical technicians, cytologists, cytotechnicians, histologists, histotechnicians, microbiologists, pathologists, and lab aides all work as a team to get results for you. So please, stay home for us. This announcement is brought to you by the Bahamas Association of Medical Technologists in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Welcome back. With the demolition of the old post office building on East Hill Street, motorists can expect some road changes once the project is completed. The new central bank will be built on the site, and the timeline for completion is January of 2021. Meantime, central bank officials say changes will be made in the area surrounding the new building. Here's Capital Development Manager at Central Bank, Ian Fernander.
East Street will go northbound. It's almost like there will be a roundabout around the Royal Victoria property. So around the Royal Victoria property, East Street will become northbound. Shirley Street will remain westbound. Parliament Street would become southbound. It is like East Street is currently two-way. And East Hill Street will become eastbound and likely will become a kind of hybrid between a walking terrace and
Specialists were also engaged to review all the buildings around the demolition project to ensure that environmental issues for workers and pedestrians are addressed. Environmental specialist Stacy Moultrie.
Because the building is old, that there might have been hazardous building materials in it, like asbestos. So some of the studies we would have done would be to test the building materials to make sure they weren't hazardous, because you need to know that so that you dispose of them properly. Thankfully, no hazardous materials were found. There was mold found in the building, which was an unexpected. So in the incidence of mold, then we have to make sure that the construction workers are safe.
Also this morning, the need for food is certainly a constant need in and out of a pandemic. Equally as important is the need for food security, which officials have stated needs to be expanded here in the Bahamas. Carla Palmer introduces us to a local farmer who is on a mission to help address this ongoing problem.
I can't feed the entire Bahamas.
Although acknowledging this truth, that does not stop this farmer for most of his life, Sidney Sinclair, from trying. In fact, he has had that ambition for years, to feed the nation and make a dent in the country's billion-dollar annual food import bill. So Farmer Sinclair did the next best thing in his eyes and created a greenhouse, producing seedlings for sale.
So when you come here and you pick up your plants, the plants are ready from 1 month to 6 weeks old. So all you need to do is prepare your place at home, and then you could start planting.
With a more realistic goal of each one, reach one, and teach one, Sinclair's looking to create a nation of backyard gardeners.
If we have some kind of crisis, we could support ourselves.
The COVID-19 pandemic is a prime example. In fact, this was a key impetus for his initiative.
Well, with the pandemic, all the prices of everything are going up. You know what I mean? So, and then a lot of people don't have jobs and stuff around there, so you need to be able to grow some food in your yard.
Simon Johnson, also a farmer, came looking for tomato seedlings.
This is tomato season, and we want to, put down our plants before time. So during the Christmas time, we can, have some tomatoes.
For Sinclair, the benefits far outweigh the time spent in your garden.
When you have to jump in your car, you're burning gas, you're burning time, you got to tow the line, and plus you're spending money. Then you could go right in your backyard and pick your fresh stuff. And I'll give you a simple example, like a celery for an example. You grow in your celery. You don't have to go in your yard and harvest the whole celery. You could go and cut a couple of stems off of that, what you need to cook with, and that plant would continue to grow. So right off the top, you're saving money.
And here's another farming tip at no expense.
You start planting each week. You put in a few things that you actually use inside your kitchen. And the reason for that is you don't want to put in everything one time and then all the sweet peppers come one time. You want to stage it out. So at least, and you keep planting until it's harvest time. And when it's harvest time, you would always have something in your backyard that you can harvest.
Sinclair reportedly has over 100 variety of seedlings in his greenhouse. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
And as he concludes his series on women doing men jobs, Charles Fisher takes a look at a woman who is not afraid to strive for higher heights.
Valderine Major, you can say, has a good view from where she works. She specializes in installation roofing.
Metal, flat roofing, asphalt, wood shakes, mansard, you name it. We know roofing.
Yes, they know roofing, having done jobs for Atlantis, University of the Bahamas, Marathon Mall, and residents as well.
34 years ago, I started working with my dad, and he's involved in roofing, and that's how I got started. I don't think there are too many women involved in the field, but I think it's growing.
If you are afraid of heights, this is not the job for you. The job is taking them hundreds of feet from ground level.
First thing is a good roof inspection and assessment. That's paramount. So it's like diagnostics. You must make an assessment. And after your assessment, you'll be able to know, where to go from there.
So how are women adapting to this new role of doing things many consider a man job?
Yes, women are still looked down on in the field. Our men are pretty good, and we're learning from them, and they're bringing out. There are some men in the field who are very secure in their malehood, and they don't have a problem helping and assisting and teaching persons like myself. And then there are some men who just count you out just by your name.
Now, there is one downfall to the job. I can feel it down here, so imagine Valderine, who is on the rooftop.
The sun is very hot. When you love the trade, when you love what you do, the sun is a factor, but the love of it causes you to get through. Some days the sun is so hot, we'd have to stop the project at a certain time, and after the sun go down, or the next day continue. It is hot.
One thing I can say, it may be hot, but the view from the top of the island is amazing. For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Art appreciation is celebrated by millions around the world, but having the right frame can easily be overlooked. Today, one local frame maker talks about his business and shares tips about the artwork. Here's Lloyd Allen.
I left school about in the 9th grade, just saying school wasn't for me, and I need to find a job.
Seasoned frame maker Andrew Ash says back in the 1980s, when he made that tough decision to walk away from formal education, it was a saving grace to find employment at a local framing company, which helped to facilitate his training in the unique art form.
I went out looking for a job, and the first place I went was to the frame center.
He explained that he gained several years of experience at a number of local companies before making the decision to invest in himself. These days, he can be found at the Place for Art, a business he owns with art educator Kim Smith. He says frames found there can be found nowhere else in the world.
We do the best work, and we use special materials. We use acid-free backing, we use acid-free matting, and we use 100% wood molding.
Now, while this may not make much sense to the average patron, to the business, Ash says the magic is all in the details.
Our material come from Lawson Jewel from United States, and they only sell quality molding. The first thing you look for, make sure it's not a plastic frame, because most frames nowadays is plastic on the front and wood in between. And they like chipboard. Once you get red and thing, it finished.
So how exactly is a frame made?
They take all of my measurement and put it on the table, eat the molding out bit by bit, stretch the canvas over. They do the same thing. Take it here, set this up, set it up, and this will do the joining.
Ash also shared on a growing style of framing called the shadow box method.
You lay down the mat, lay the record on the mat, and then you box up all the sides and close everything up and close it off, and it's good to go.
He adds, like most businesses in recent months, sales have been up and down. However, he offers this advice to young people in search of a secure profession.
It will be a good business for young people to get into, especially young artists, because they will know how to frame their own picture, they'll know how to stretch the canvas, and they can know how to complete.
For the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. And still to come, we'll introduce you to a teacher who has turned her creativity into a thriving business when the morning edition continues.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Praise the Lord, Friends, family, and friends, family, and
I've been poor my entire life. I am the last of 15 children, and I don't know what it is to have a new pair of shoes, a new dress. I always got hand-me-downs, and dinner and meals. Thank God for fruit trees.
When women are murdered, there's a 38% chance that it was their intimate partner. Talking about violence against women is not an easy discussion for us to have. Some of the common signs are physical abuse, abusive language, and unhealthy behaviors, such as searching through your partner's phone. We need to have a conversation. Know the signs. Say no to violence against women.
When a hurricane strikes, there are many critical needs to survival. Water is one of them. Access to clean water to drink, bathe, and wash things is often hard to come by, particularly in remote areas. While it's tempting to use whatever water is available, there are a few things that you should do to make sure that your drinking water is safe to consume or use. Boiling your water is one of them. Boiling water kills most pathogens that can be harmful. If your water is cloudy, filter it through a clean cloth or portable filter. You should boil filtered water for 1 minute, cool, and then store in a clean container with a lid. If boiling your water is not an option, you can disinfect it with bleach. Use 1/8 teaspoon or 8 drops per gallon, then let it stand for 30 minutes. Remember, this water should be stored in a clean container with a lid. Ensuring the highest level of food, animal, and plant safety in the Bahamas, This message is brought to you by the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food Safety Authority and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
A female educator in her mid-20s residing in Exuma is making her presence felt by putting smiles on the faces of her clients through her balloon and candy business. The young entrepreneur from Harbor Island says the death of a sibling influenced her to take a risk and turn that tragedy into sweet success.
I'm going to name this business in honor of her, to keep her memory alive.
Her late sister's sweet tooth and the desire for a second income inspired Spanish educator Blair Presenti to establish her new business 3 years ago. Lulu's Sugar Rush offers cotton candy and decorative balloon decor for birthdays, anniversaries, baby showers, and other special events, and has garnered the attention of clients around the country.
I found myself, having a keen interest for things that were related to celebratory events like balloons, gifting. And so apart from that, I always knew that I wanted to name my business after my late sister, London Presenti. But I wanted the name to be more playful, more colorful, so I decided to use her nickname. And so that's how Lulu Sugar Rush was birthed.
With a lot of patience, time, and guidance, Blair says she was able to see her dream become a reality. And in the midst of COVID-19, she says her business continues to thrive.
I was in Harbor Island for the entire summer, and I was shocked for the amount of sales or the amount of patronage that I received from my hometown. And even here in Exuma, the sales are good. I'm able to, on a weekly basis, I'm able to gain at least 12 to 15 sales on the products that I provide.
When asked how is she able to juggle being an educator and an entrepreneur, Blair says it's a challenge that's worth it.
I'm not only employed full-time by the Ministry of Education, I'm not only the owner of Lulu Sugar Rush, I'm also a student at Barry University because I do plan to change career paths and Ladon sometimes. Sometimes it is smooth sailing, while other times I cannot tell my head from my foot, especially when I have myriads of orders to fulfill. And to be quite honest, that's the reality of being employed full-time and owning a business.
But believe it or not, Blair has not received any formal training for her talent and credits the push by her mother and veterans in the business to keep on going.
My mom, who has been telling me to do this, to do that, add this, you need to add more, take this out because it's too junky. You know how mothers go. But I do plan to sit a few courses that will advance me into becoming a certified balloon artist. And hopefully when I'm done with those courses, I'm a teacher at heart, I can come back and teach those skills to those persons who want to start their very own balloon business.
Best of luck to you, Blair. And that's a wrap for us on this fantastic Friday morning. For the entire morning team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a safe day and weekend, everyone.